This is a Series 3 Tiger Light, the exact same as a Series 2, except that it has more grooves in it. Everything else is identical. The pepper spray is on this end. There's just a can of practice spray in there right now. Very easy to put together. Basically, you just put this in the top, drop it down in. There's a barrier between this compartment and the switch compartment. Here are the charger contacts, are gold plated. Here's the switch to operate the 3-mode light. It has high, low, and strobe. The end part here, as opposed to the earlier Tiger lights, you can adjust to fit your hand and the length of your fingers and everything. So you can put it where you want it in relation to your switch. Because you're going to hold it up like this, and you can see, I can just squeeze my hand and operate the switch. Or I can push it down and put it in a certain mode, or I can cycle through the modes. And so it's very easy to operate. Very important that you have to take the light off the subject when you go to spray them. Because if the light's on them, if the spray's coming out like this, then you force them into a defensive mode against the effect of your spray. That's why we have a 96% plus effectiveness rate, which is way higher than any pepper spray in a can. We can take the same pepper spray in a can, put it in a Tiger light, and it's way higher. But other lights that have spray in them, that the spray comes out the front, aren't near as effective because you're forcing your subject into a defensive response. When they get a light in their eye, they're apt to go like this. Well, that's not what you want them doing when you're spraying them in the face. You want them to be caught by surprise because the effect is much, much greater, especially on those who are on drugs, because they may not stop because of the pain, but the respiratory distress that they will experience will stop them. When you can't breathe, you can't fight. It's like a MMA fight. They can punch each other 100 times and still fight. But if one gets the other one in a chokehold, after a few seconds it's over. People don't respond well to not being able to breathe well, even though it's not dangerous to them. They're not going to suffocate, but they will feel like they are going to. And that's a very powerful deterrent, and it's what makes the Tiger Light so much more effective. So that's basically it in a nutshell. It's aircraft aluminum, military spec hard coat anodized, gold plated circuits. For the charger, it has a fast charger that can mount in the vehicle, very strong prongs that hold it in place, and it's a smart fast charger. So it'll charge it up in 1/5 the time of a normal charger, but then it tops it off and keeps it charged up without overcharging it. So it's a very high quality system. Obviously the U.S. Air Force gave it an NSN number, DLA contract. After 6 years of working with them, with the Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Directorate, it's an incredible product. Nobody should have a flashlight in their hand when they can have a Tiger Light in the same hand and have a non-lethal and lethal force response in hand at the same time. So you're not forced to use your gun because you can't get something else in time. You always have this available. It can always be the first option. It gives you more confidence when you approach a subject, so you're much less apt to escalate it by being loud and aggressive because you don't have anything in your hands yet to protect yourself. If that guy attacks you, so you want to intimidate him. That's not necessary when you have a Tiger Light. You can keep things low key. That's why we had a 30% reduction in the use of force over 3 patrol stations and a jail in the LA County Sheriff's Department study of the Tiger Light. Over 6 months with 500 officers, a 30% reduction in all levels of force, including the use of the Tiger Light. That's like a miracle. I mean, nothing like that's ever happened. And it's because the confidence of the officer is at such a higher level, they don't need to be intimidating. They can approach the situation knowing they can incapacitate the subject if they need to in a split second without having to take their life. And it has an incredibly high stop rate, like we said, so they have a great confidence in its effectiveness to do what it needs to do, to protect them. By doing so, they're also protecting the subject because they're not having to use high levels of force to stop them, even lethal force. but I can have my gun and my light. I can transition from non-lethal force to lethal force if I need to. That's the key. That's what makes this so incredibly valuable. But no other light, no other pepper spray light has had the effect that Tiger lights have. None of them. Now, we do other things with the actuator systems and the way they spray out and the shape of the cone, how much pressure, all that is also different. But the key difference is it's stealth. They don't know you have a weapon in your hand. You do. You can, in that situation, stop the escalation in a split second. And it's always there. So that's what this light's about. Super high quality, over 2 hours at 1,000 lumens, over 8 hours at probably in the neighborhood of 500 lumens, and has a strobe. So you have everything right there, super easy to operate. And also the fact that you don't hold it like this, that's less intimidating to people, so it's less apt to escalate again. You don't look like you're ready to strike them, so you're not going to set off somebody who's already going to be very easy to get agitated. We want to try to avoid that. Let's get them arrested with the least force possible and not create problems for ourselves. So while maintaining the optimal safety of both the officer and the civilian. So that's it. Any questions, please contact us. We also do have, in prototype mode, a smaller version of the larger Tiger light. Basically all the same concept, just in a smaller package, smaller battery, smaller canister. Sprays really well, has about 700 lumens as opposed to 1,000. Won't run as long at 700 lumens as that will. It has much longer runtime because it has a bigger battery capacity. So this is also an option. And the price is pretty close to the same for this one or that one. This one's a little bit less. That one's for large agencies and so forth. The military is around $193 for the whole system, not including the spray. The spray would be another about $10. And so there you go. You have two of the best options on the planet. Incredibly effective system that will do more to reduce the use of force than any device ever has, and we have the proof of that. You have the LA study and every other study that's been done on the Tiger light. That was just the largest study over the longest period of time. But to have a 96% stop rate on an average of 2.4 subjects, have a 30% reduction in the use of force, have a 43% reduction in lethal force. It's just an incredible device. And they had no complaints of excessive force and no injuries on 147 different subjects. There were no injuries requiring medical attention. That doesn't happen with any other devices, tools, weapons. So please consider all those things and make the right choice. Tiger light's the right choice. We've been doing this for 20 years and we're good at it. Of course, you have the option of the little D.A.D device that's even smaller and more stealth. But we're here to talk about these two devices briefly, and hopefully that is giving you the information you need.